Before we get to the video, if you would like to help me stop the madness, then please visit madnessnation.net to get all of your merchandise, or simply hit the link in the description below to donate. Remember, I cannot stop the madness without you. Madness. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the hottest show on the net, the hottest crime show on the net. Stop the Madness Crime News, Madness. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, then please hit the link in the description. Now, we have been following this cash case. A lot of people have their own thoughts about it, but I actually had somebody who wanted to come on the show, and they wanted to talk about some things. So I told them, come on, Stop the Madness. I'll go ahead. I'll let you take the floor. And you can say whatever you got to say. Because over here on Stop the Madness, we keeps it real. I ain't going to censor you. You say whatever you going to say. Hello? Ma'am? Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can go ahead, introduce yourself, and get whatever you got to get off your chest.
All right. So my name is Alejandra, and I was Darriynn Brown's next door neighbor in 2018. I saw firsthand how all of this unfolded. Weeks prior to the incident, we all shared videos and pictures of him going around with a hammer at night and threatening our neighbors. Every person that posted these videos made a police report. This went on for several weeks, and never once did the police do anything about it. This guy showed all signs of being seriously disturbed. There were clear red flags that were ignored and not handled properly. I can tell you with so much detail how his personality was because my sibling once shared a class with him, and he was very intimidating as well. I was present when the crews were cleaning the crime scene. I saw how they cleaned like a trail of blood coming from the woods. I saw everything in person. I attended the community meeting held on May 24. In this meeting, they wanted to share like facts about the case so they could ease our minds. The police chief told us that there was only one suspect that was going to get charged for this case. They said it takes forensics about 3 weeks to come back. So they are just waiting for this to come back so they can give him proper charges. They will be charging him with capital murder once these results come back. They assured us that despite all rumors, they were only going to charge one person for this crime because they had enough footage and evidence to prove that he was the one that committed this crime. I mean, I'm honestly not here for attention or to give my theory of what happened that day. I just wanted to share the truth. I want everyone to know that the police is also at fault for not handling this properly. They need to be held accountable for their negligence because since the beginning of the incident, they made sure to not mention to anybody like that all these previous incidents involving Brown had happened in the community. Like no media, nobody was covering any of this. And the people had made reports previously and none of them were ever taken seriously. And I don't understand how we had multiple cases involving this same individual in such a short time span that no one ever said, hey, I mean, this is the same suspect and he's causing too much trouble in one neighborhood. I mean, they didn't follow through with the reports, and it's obvious. I mean, they let this maniac roam free in our neighborhood and he was comfortable doing this. I think he was just a predator and he was just waiting for the perfect opportunity to commit this crime. I mean, that's what predators do. The police should be trained to handle these situations. I hold a degree in science of psychology, and when I would see all of my neighbors post these incidents, it was clear to me that he was going to hurt somebody eventually. So, I mean, I'm angry because I honestly 100%, I'm sure that this guy wouldn't have gotten away with committing such a crime if he was in an affluent community like Highland Park in Dallas, because they would have stopped it. They wouldn't have let it get to fourth, fifth, sixth report of him doing all these crimes. They would have done something about it. They wouldn't have let someone terrorize everyone for weeks. I'm pretty sure. And when people would make reports, it would take 30 minutes to arrive to the scene. So how, I mean, I mean, it was clear to me that they were negligent. And yesterday at the meeting, they didn't really give us any real solutions. They were only giving us excuses to why they can't be everywhere at all times and why they're human and they're not perfect. But I mean, what? How is that a solution to what happened? I mean, this incident could have been avoided if they would have taken importance to this case since the beginning. A 4-year-old shouldn't have died in order for them to say something to the community. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that the police is not responsible, because I know and I feel that they were, and I want something to change. I don't want this to ever happen to anyone ever again. I mean, they told us they were going to increase patrolling now and try better, but where was this energy and all these things before Cash died? I mean, I'm devastated that a child had to die for them to pay attention. I mean, this could have been my child. I think that we as a society need to do something to change this, and everyone deserves equal access to mental health resources, and everyone needs to receive the same attention from the police when reports are made. I mean, I don't know. I understand, and I know it's hard for all the community because we all live through this and we're the ones going through it. And I really feel like the police has most of fault in this case. That's really all I wanted to share, because I haven't really seen anyone covering this or saying anything about this.
Okay. Now, you said that you can go into detail about Darriyn's Brown character earlier. What is it about his character? Because you said you can really go into detail about the type of person that he was.
Because when he was in school with my sibling, he would threaten the teacher when he'll get angry. He'll tell her that he was going to chop her into pieces if she didn't stop bothering him, or if she was going to tell him something else. I mean, that's already a red flag, you know?
Right. So he was telling the teacher he was going to chop her up.
Yes.
Wow. And then he's going around also threatening people in the neighborhood as well. Am I correct on that?
Yes, he had previous incidents of threatening neighbors and exposing himself as well.
And he kept being reported and nothing happened.
Yes, I mean, there was video surveillance, there was pictures, reports, everything. I mean, we as a community did everything we could to get the attention of the police for them to do something before this happened.
And from your best, crack at it, why do you feel like nothing was done, even though the community was pretty much begging for help, doing all these reports, having all this evidence? Why do you feel like nothing was done until, like you said, wasn't nothing really done until, unfortunately, baby Cash lost his life?
I mean, it's been happening for years here. The crime just keeps increasing, and the police does nothing because it's obvious that it's a low-income community and they don't pay as much attention as to other communities, like I said, such as an affluent community like Highland Park.
And all this really could have been avoided is pretty much what this comes down to.
Yes.
Because it never should have got this far. It never should have got this far. I mean, if a community is coming to you for help and they're doing their part, because we always talk about, hey, people in the community be trying to protect certain people, the whole don't say nothing thing going on. But here you have a community that came together and was coming with evidence, coming with facts, coming with evidence. Listen, this man has been a menace to our neighborhood and nothing happened. That's crazy. That's madness.
Yeah, they need to be held accountable, and they need to accept their faults, you know, like that's part of bettering yourself and doing. That's how things are going to get solved and changed. I mean, they have to say, yeah, it was our fault. And but they didn't. They instead they kept telling us, well, if you see something, report it. If it didn't happen, if you didn't report it, it didn't happen. And the people that were victims of his were there, and they were like, well, we reported it, we said something, why wasn't anything done? And they really didn't give us any answer to that. They just kept saying, well, we are trying our best. But I mean, the best was not enough. They were being negligent. They weren't doing their job properly. They weren't taking our concerns. They weren't paying attention to anything. Like it's obvious. I mean, how do you have so many reports and this happens?
I'm sorry that you and the community had to go through that. And I'm sorry that nothing was done, even though y'all did y'all part. Like you said, they said if you see something, say something. Y'all said something. If you don't, what they say, if you don't report it, it didn't happen. Y'all reported it. Y'all did everything that y'all was supposed to do. And then this happens. So they pretty much, like you said at the town meeting, you said they pretty much didn't give y'all like a straight answer. It was just like, well, our bad, I guess, right? Like, I guess that's pretty much the vibes you got.
Not even that. Like they weren't even saying we made a mistake. Nothing. They weren't owning up to their mistake. They just kept giving us all these excuses that had nothing to do with what we were trying to get our point across. Someone even came to the meeting and said, hey, can you at least send two police to patrol at night, because we're unsafe. Like robberies are constantly happening, all these, like, crime is increasing. Can you at least send two cars at night to patrol? And they were like, well, we can't promise you because I can't tell my officers where to be, but we're going to try our best. Like, how is this a real solution to something this severe? Like, how did a 4-year-old have to die? This should have happened way before he died. Like, why now? The tension you're putting to it now should have happened way before he died. Right. And I don't think they are understanding. I mean, they're just trying to save themselves and not make themselves look bad. But they need to be held accountable. How else are things going to change? This is going to keep on happening as long as they don't own themselves for their mistake, and they don't change their policies or do something. I mean, it's obvious that they were being negligent.
See, and I'm glad you decided to come on here and talk about this, is because this is how a lot of people in the community is feeling. And sometimes the people in the community feel like their voices isn't being heard. But in order, like she said, in order for the community to get better, in order for things to get better, we have to have these conversations. Although they may be difficult conversations to have. Don't nobody want to say, well, that, if we would have did more, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Don't nobody want to say that, but the conversations need to be had. So like she says, nothing like this ever happens again. It shouldn't have took for baby Cash to lose his life, for them to actually start getting the attention that they needed in this community. Because as you heard, she said, this community already been dealing with a lot of problems, and it kind of seems like they just didn't care until this situation happened. A life shouldn't have to be lost for this community to basically have their rights to be protected. Madness. Now, let me ask you a question, okay? I'm sure you have seen the video footage and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In your honest opinion, just in your speculation, do you feel, And I'm talking about the video where Baby Cash got taken out his crib, okay? Because that's the one that so many people seem to be split on. As far as, do you feel it was Darriynn or do you feel it was Cameron?
Darriynn.
You feel it was Darriynn?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that 100%, like, nah, 100% that was Darriynn in that video.
Yes, because when I was his next door neighbor, he was already showing signs of being disturbed. I mean, what more signs, clear signs? I mean, I understand that sometimes it's hard to to grasp the concept that one person can be so evil, and but yes, there was so much negligence, and he was showing clear signs as a long time.
And I did hear that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I did hear that the Dallas Police Department, they are no longer a suspect. It's only Darriynn now. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what we were told yesterday at the meeting, that it was only Darriynn, the one that's the suspect, and they're just waiting for proper forensics to come back so they can charge him properly so he gets capital murder.
Okay. Because if that's the case, and they're saying that, because from what I heard they was able to actually see all the footage, not just the little footage that we seen. And if Darriynn Brown did this and he did this by himself and he didn't have no help, then we're gonna have to give Monica an apology. We're gonna have to give Cameron an apology. Because we've been going back and forth as far as just speculating on, oh, we think he did it, we think he didn't do it, oh, we think he had help, we think Cameron said it. Like, it's a whole lot of speculation that was going on. But if it comes out that they didn't have nothing to do with it, they just happened to be on meth, and that's just a bad look. Because that's the real reason why people was really speculating. Like, that interview that he didn't help his case at all. The interview that Monica didn't help her case at all. But if it comes out that this was just Darriynn Brown and Darriynn Brown only, then they gonna need an apology. And I'm gonna be the first one on here to give them apology. They come out and say, okay, we're charging him with capital murder because we got all the evidence and the facts that we need. Is it true, since you're in the neighborhood, that he was going around the neighborhood actually telling people in the neighborhood, I'm gonna kill you? Or
Yes.
wow.
Yes, he would do that. He would tell people that he was gonna kill them, come back at night and kill them with his hammer. All these things that are, I mean, what more do you want? And my point again is, like, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to, like, I guess, gossip, or I don't know, say anything, theorize, because there shouldn't even be speculation. If he would have been stopped on time, that no one would have manipulated him, or no one, if he would have been stopped on time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If the proper job was done beforehand, it wouldn't even have made it to this point, and we wouldn't even be right here talking about this right now, because they would have got him a long time ago when he was breaking people cameras with hammers, when he was running around telling people, I'm gonna kill you, when he was up there peeking in people backyards and everything like that, that was also caught on camera. So yeah, this whole situation could have and should have been avoided. And I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad you came up here to talk about this, because people need to know. Y'all the ones who have to live in this community. See, we're on the outside looking in, but y'all are actually there. Y'all living this. Y'all seeing the police and the FBI over there in the neighborhood. Y'all seeing the blood, the little kid, and y'all actually are living this. So it's good to have a source that's actually in there. So it's good to have a hold on real quick. 1 second. Let me see. Okay, I actually got this. Hold on. Okay, she was actually supposed to go to a waiting room, but she just popped on the screen. How you doing, Molly?
Oh, hi. I didn't ask for permission. I was trying to get your attention. Is it okay if I popped on?
Go ahead.
Hi, Alessandra. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the footwork that you did and keeping us in the loop and doing what you did for us yesterday and 3 days ago. We really, really appreciate that. We think that you're a doll. God bless you. I wanted to say that publicly. Um, and I really wanted to say, Stop the Madness. Thank you so much for really getting the ball rolling with this case and getting Tiffany Marie's attention. And I think that you're right. If we do find out that Darriynn completely acted alone, yeah, we've got some explaining to do, but at the same time, I do think that the mainstream media and what they've put out, in bits and pieces, um, is a lot responsible for that. Putting
Exactly.
these,
Hold on 1 second. Hello, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to get Miss A back on here. Hold on one.
I mean, I could totally step down
Hold
and
on.
let you guys continue. I was like, I finally caught him. Let me, personally thank him.
Okay. Molly, I'm gonna try to bring you back on a little later. I'm having some
Okay.
technical difficulties working this because it's like bopping
Don't
back and
even
forth.
worry about it. Alessandra, thank you. And Stop Madness, thank you. And everyone in the chat and everyone that's trying to help what's going on right now. I know it's confusing and it's just a horrible tragedy, but I really do thank you guys.
Yeah, Molly, stay. Yeah, stay in the chat. I'm gonna bring you back on later. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Let me try to. Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
It's just
But
that
I mean, that's
when people click the link, it's supposed to put them in a waiting room until I actually bring them on. But it's like if they click it in, they automatically just coming on. I gotta figure out what setting that is. But okay, go ahead.
but yeah, I mean, that's all I really wanted to get that point across, and I want them to be held accountable, and I want them to admit that they were wrong and they were negligent, and I want something to change. I don't want this to happen to anyone ever again. Like, this was devastating and this was horrible, and I don't ever want no one to go through this. I don't want the police to keep making these type of mistakes and then just sweeping it under the rug and no one saying anything. Like, please, somebody say something. They were negligent. Can, like, hold them accountable. This has to change. Something has to change.
Now, when you say hold them accountable, what do you want? What do you want to happen for them to be held accountable? Is it kind of like, do you feel like they need to go to more training, or you just feel like, okay, just next time that this happened, make sure that y'all move on this?
Yes, like, they need better training, I guess, and they need to bring real solutions to the community, and like, they need to treat every community the same. They need to see what they're doing wrong, you know what I mean? Like, they need to and this is a problem that is from the bottom up. Everybody failed this boy. Everybody, from these workers that couldn't find the mom that had been looking for them. I mean, everybody but the police could have stopped this if they would have done their job right. And I don't know if they need better training to see when somebody is showing the signs of having like an antisocial disorder, you know what I mean?
Right.
And stop it. But it's obvious that they need to do more working, and they need to like have more meetings with us and actually be in the community, not just coming when a 4-year-old boy dies. Like, why did he have to die?
That's absolutely correct. Why did he have to die? He shouldn't have had to die. And I do believe that the awareness that has been brought to this case is gonna make them tighten up, because it's kind of like anything else in life. You know, you may be lounging, not really, paying attention, but something major happens, is going to force you to tighten up. Because damn sure you can't have another situation like this again. Because like you said, wasn't nobody really covering this story. And then like once it start being covered, especially by us YouTubers, then the story really start taking off, because we like, wait a minute, this little 4-year-old boy down there in Dallas got killed, and we're not like really hearing about this. Like the word needs to get out about this. Like this ain't some stuff that can just happen and just be glossed up under the rug. And that's kind of like when I seen it and I wasn't seeing too much about it. That's kind of how I felt this story was going, that it was kind of just being swept under the rug, which is why that's why I decided to talk about it. And then I see other people talking about it. And it's like, okay, cool. You got the ball rolling. So now this particular situation got all this attention on it. And I believe that's what needs to happen. Awareness needs to happen. People need to be aware about what's going on, especially when it comes to kids. I have kids and I hate to see stories like this. I don't never want to see no story like this. And then when you dig into the story and it's like, wow, this didn't even have to happen. It's madness. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the people? Is there anything else you need to say? Whether if you want to say anything about Darriynn, whether if you want to say anything about the PD, anything else that you want to get off your chest. Because when I talk to you, I said, listen, I'm going to let you have the floor. Whatever you got to say it. Because over here on Stop the Look, I ain't politically correct over here. You say what you want. You say what you want to say. Get it all off your chest. Because I don't want you getting off this show and then being like, man, I forgot to say. Nah, I want you to get it all off your chest right now. Everything.
I mean, that was mostly my frustration, that this wasn't being covered and they weren't saying the whole truth. Nobody was saying that this was happening. Only we knew. And I just wanted the truth to be told, because I don't want no one to ever go through this again. I want the police to have proper training. I want the communities to feel safe. I don't want this to ever happen again. This was horrible. Like, this should have never happened. And I just want something good to at least come out of this, because he shouldn't have died. And they just need to do something to change this. This shouldn't happen ever again.
And honestly, I honestly think that by you coming on here saying this, your voice, they're gonna hear this. They're gonna hear your voice, and they're definitely, I can promise you, they are going to tighten up. They're not gonna have a choice but to tighten up. Your voice, listen, your voice. I just seen somebody in the chat said somebody need to convince her to go national. To go on national television. That's how much your voice right now is reaching the people. They're telling you that you need to go on national television with these same concerns and let it be known. And it ain't even gotta, and see, this is the thing. So often in life, we take people criticism and just want to throw it out the window, or want to be like, oh, they're attacking us. When really, we need to listen. Because sometimes we need to do better. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need to do better. There is nothing wrong with saying, you know what? This department needs to do better. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. So you can't just think that because a person is coming out saying, listen, y'all dropped the ball on this particular situation. Okay. Take the criticism and get better and tighten up. Okay. Everything is not an attack. Everything ain't to just, beat you down. I have people on here all the time that gives me tips about what they like and don't like. I don't get mad at those people for voicing their concerns. Hey, madness, you say madness too much. And then somebody else will be like, I love that you say madness. But take it all and get better. So when she's on here talking about the police department and saying how she feel like they dropped the ball, if they hear this, get better, do better. She's pretty much begging for help. She don't ever want this to happen again. This should have never happened. So the next time you got people from this community calling that actually got video evidence, photo evidence, they're telling you, hey, it's another Darriynn Brown in the neighborhood. Don't let the same thing happen to somebody else that happened to Baby Cash. Listen and take action. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what she is saying. She is absolutely correct. And if we are going to build our communities, if we are going to have safer communities so the people of the community can feel safe, people need to work together. You need to work together to make it a better place, a better safe place. People are raising their kids in this community. People are taking care of their parents. They can no longer take care of themselves in this community. And people deserve to feel safe. Shouldn't nobody in no community have to feel like, oh, some crazy dude is going to break in here, and if I call for help, nobody's going to come. Nobody should feel that way. Madness. That's all it is. Learn from this and do better. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you for coming on the show tonight. I would like to thank you for expressing your concerns because it needed to be heard. And you did a great service because, like I said, they're going to hear this and they're going to tighten up. You probably don't even know how many lives you just saved because they're going to make sure that this don't happen again. You did something very great tonight. You did something very, very brave tonight. I appreciate it. And the people in your community, I'm sure they appreciate you too.
And thank you, and thank Molly and the people that were actually listening to me and giving me a voice and letting me say these things, because our local media they weren't listening to us. And I mean, I'm not trying to attack, like you said, anybody. I'm not trying to say, hey, like, let's go, like, screw the police. Like, no, I just want this to not happen again. And that's it. And thank you for giving me a voice and letting me say this and let me tell my truth and let the truth be known.
You are absolutely welcome. Because on Stop the Madness, voices need to be heard. We are often a voice for the people who can no longer be a voice for themselves. I told you I was going to give you the floor. I told you I was going to let you say whatever it is you had to say. And you did exactly that. You make sure you have a safe night tonight, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, before you leave, make sure that you keep me updated about what's going on over there, okay?
Okay, will do.
Thank you very much. You have a good one. Y'all hear that? The community. Molly, you still out there? Can y'all please give her a thank you for coming on here and saying what needed to be said? That needed to be said. Now I'm about to try to bring Molly back on here. Molly, go ahead and click that link again if you can, so I can get you back on here. Give me a second, people. I'm trying to get Molly back in here. And this is what needs to happen, people. Open dialogue. That's all it is. Open dialogue. We need to have open conversations like this, because that's the only way that things are going to get better. We already lost baby Cash. Let's try our best to make sure that we don't lose another child. Like I tell you all the time, the madness is never going to stop. But maybe you can save a life or two. Wouldn't that be worth it? Wouldn't that be worth it if you could save a life or two? I understand that you can't save everybody, madness. But you can save one person, and that'll make it worth it. You may save two people, that can make it worth it. And I guarantee that they gonna tighten up. And she just came on this show and saved somebody. So the next time something tragic happens, try to use it as a teaching moment to make sure don't nothing tragic happens again. Because that's all you can do at this point. That's all you can do at this point, because unfortunately, that heinous act, that heinous crime has already been done. So you want to make sure that it don't happen again. How you doing, Molly?
Hi, how are you? I'm sorry. It's been so long since I've been on Zoom. Right. It's been like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it took me a while. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, I'm just listening to the people voice their concerns. Yeah. Because the people need to talk. The people need a voice, especially people that's living it, that's actually in the area.
I can't believe it. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I did a small video. You have to think of Antoinette's when, you know, she found that baby. And you also have to think about those people, you know, on that street that have to drive past that every day. Right. The people that went to the scene, you know, it's not all about, and I'm actually praying for Darriynn's mother and his family. You know, this is not their fault. But you know what? The fault does lie on the Dallas PD. I mean, we're not talking about a menace that was throwing rocks at people's windows and spray painting, you know, a tagger. We're talking about someone that was flailing a hammer and threatening people.
Threatening people, saying, I'm gonna murder you. Like, yeah, that's next level.
That's some serious shit. I mean, and if these people scared, I mean, the only comforting thing is the fact that the neighborhood psycho is behind jail and he is not gonna get out.
Oh no, he's never gonna get out. He's never gonna get out from that, especially after they finish their forensics. I did hear from one of my sources that he did actually have a breakdown, you know, while he was in there.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like most of the time when I put a source on it, you can pretty much take it. You can pretty much take it to the bank. Like, right. You know, my last source, people was questioning that, and then he came out with the video confirming everything that I had just said.
Yeah, that first guy that you had on, that first video was that you had the Latino guy on with the white. I loved him. I thought he was great.
You talking about?
I did. I really liked him. I was like, oh, he's great.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Tim. You're talking about Tim, I believe.
I think so. Yeah, that was the first video that I watched. And I haven't been able to see all of them. This has gotten exhausting for me.
Right.
Because the emotions and just, checking my phone for updates. And I'll tell you one thing I don't appreciate is what I don't like. The worst part is the news media giving conflicting stories.
Right.
And, we were told that Monica was having an affair with this kid. And we were also told that Monica and Trevor, that was his girlfriend.
Yeah,
And then we hear that none of this is true. And then it falls back on us because they're like, oh, you're false reporting. No, we don't come with these ideas out of our asses. We come with these ideas because this is what we're hearing.
Right. All this, see, the thing about it is, this is speculation. We're doing what anybody else who would do that's at their home who may see this story. And they'd be like, you know what? From what I seen, I think, you look at the facts, you look at, the reports, and then you come up with what you personally feel technically happened. That don't mean that you're 100% right. Like we're not on here saying, you know what, for a fact, this is what happened. And for a fact, we're not doing that. This is just pure speculation. We're just doing it. We're doing it on our channels. So the word is getting out there. It's no different than what the news people be doing. They be speculating, they get the report, they give their opinion on it. That's basically what we're doing. So anybody that's coming on here trying to attack any of us, YouTube creators for pretty much we're reading these stories. Like she said, we didn't pull this story out our ass and just be like, you know what? Oh, a 4-year-old boy then lost his life. No, this is what was saying in the report. And then another report will come out completely, conflicting to the first one.
I know.
We're reporting.
I have to tell you, my heart dropped when Alessandra came out of the meeting and said they're not charging the family with anything. I was like, I needed a minute to kind of pick my throat up, I'm
waiting for them to fully charge Darriynn Brown with murder, because one thing that I do know is that they will tell you that you are no longer a suspect to see if you gonna mess up.
Yes, I know.
So I'm waiting for them to hit him with the murder, waiting for them to be completely cleared. And like I said, once that happened, the apology video to Monica and to Cameron is coming, because
if
that happens, it's coming, because there's nothing wrong with your speculations being wrong. I can admit that if I was speculating something, like I speculated that, hey, Darriynn Brown did it, but I think he had some help. If it comes back that was wrong, then I don't have a problem apologizing, because I'm real. And when you're real, you can apologize.
I mean, but then you have to take into consideration, like, oh, well, why are these people being so judgmental? Why are these people coming up with this? Is this? Well, you want to know something? Once they pointed out the person in the window, it definitely looked like a silhouette in the window. Right. And we definitely saw a little light. Okay, the sneakers. Okay, the dogs. That raises other questions. All these different things. And then we find out that what we were first told is that the mother, Melinda, didn't want anything to do with the kids, and then all of a sudden we find out she's been looking for the whole time. Right. I was like, wait, what? And then what else did we speculate? We wondered if Trevor was even still alive.
Right.
And then bombshell, his sister comes out. And what I thought was very, very strange, we're not all stupid here. Right. But when she said, but he's definitely still in Texas, I was like,
And I really think, like I said earlier, I really think what really kicked off all this speculation is the interviews that they did. The interview that Cameron did and the interview that Monica did is what really got people thinking. Like, if you look at my comment section right now, you still got people saying, I think Cameron has something to do with it. Mm-hmm. You know, even though they been cleared. And that's Monica. Yes.
What is she doing in that picture?
She's smiling.
Unnecessary, huh?
Hard.
Would you be smiling?
I wouldn't be smiling if if a little 4-year-old boy just
if your son, she's
killed.
saying her son,
right,
was taken.
I don't even know if I would have been able to do an interview at all that soon.
Exactly. And doesn't it make you wonder, when did Daily Mail get there? Because the sheets are still on the crib, right? Mm-hmm. Did they do this interview before the cops even got there? Because surely the cops and the FBI would have sectioned that off and taken it all.
Right.
I mean, I would think. I'm not a cop. What do I know? But this is the thing. It's not just me speculating, okay? It's not just Tiffany Marie speculating or all the other creators, but you have thousands of people in the side chat, and you have to remember that a lot of people are intrigued by true crime.
Right.
A lot of people live in Dallas, Texas, and when people don't get instant gratification, instant answers, because we are so used to watching shows like Forensic Files that ends. We got this man that's got this soft voice. Uh-huh. We have photos. We have a nice cushion of a story, and it's over in 22 minutes. We got the whole story. Bada bing, bada boom, it's done. So shows like this have conditioned us to be curious about the crime, what they learned, how they did it, how they found the suspect, how it ended. But with this, oh, no. But one thing that I liked is in the article from the Daily Piece, it says, this is a pretty messed up story because there's like all these weird, a lot of trajectory with the relationships and conflicting stories. Uh-huh. And that is true. Conflicting stories. I don't know about you, but I don't like changing stories.
I don't either, because when the story changes, oftentimes where there's smoke, there's fire. When the story changes.
Exactly. Tisk. And I've always been like that.
So let me ask you why you on here.
I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, you welcome. You as welcome. But why you on here? Let me ask you a question real quick. Where do you stand now on this case since they came out and they cleared the family? Because I know you came out with a couple of more videos. I ain't have a chance to watch them all.
For now.
You said who?
They cleared them for now.
For now? Yeah, for now.
I don't think this is over.
You don't think this is over?
Hell to the no.
So you still believe that? You believe that? Because like I said, my thing is I believe that Darriynn did it, but I believe he had help.
I do. I agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, and until
there's something off. There's something off about Special K. There really is, and I want to know the truth, and sometimes we're not always going to get the truth. And when Alejandra was up here, and she talks about her anger with the Dallas police, yes, I believe the only thing that can help, definitely not defund the police. Okay, we definitely realize that defunding the police is not a good idea. What they need a subdivision, a hub in that area. And what they need to do is when somebody makes a complaint where it is life-threatening, when somebody says, I'm in fear of my life, I think there should be enough police there to investigate and be on patrol, and
a person shouldn't have to make good on their threat before something is done. I always felt that way, because there's certain threats that you shouldn't be saying regardless. Like, you shouldn't be saying, oh, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna chop you up. Like, that's just some things that you shouldn't say. And those threats like that definitely need to be taken seriously. That ain't something that you just blow and gloss over. But too many times a person have to actually make good on their threat before something is done about that. And then it's like, well, damn. Then it's a situation like this. Well, Darriynn been saying he's gonna kill somebody. He been saying it for the longest time, and he actually had to do it allegedly
in order for you to wake up. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right? And he's going away for the rest of his life, and still, that's not even good enough for me. It's not good enough. And the thing is, I don't even know the details. My brain doesn't allow me as a mother to picture him in those woods and see that. I refuse to allow myself that filter. I can't. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what the weapon is. I'm probably gonna faint. If somebody shows me a picture, if they release photos, I am done. I will be done. I'll be like, you want to know something? Enough. It's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. I don't ever want it to get that far. I don't like, I'll tell you what I don't like. I just don't like the selfishness of both families.
Right.
They keep talking about them, and they're so concerned about what these YouTubers are saying about me. They called me this name, blah, blah, blah. You have bigger problems.
Right. Your son is dead. The least of your concern should be what a YouTuber is saying about you. Like, come on now. Your son funeral coming up and they don't want you to go and you worried about what we're saying about you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You was worried about rehab, which is why you didn't come back to the scene. Oh, come on. Your son is no longer with us. It's more important things than what people are saying about you. Forget what people are saying about you right now and be a damn father.
I know.
You understand?
I know.
Be a father.
I know.
Be a dad. The same dad that Cash was probably screaming for when this horrible act happened to him.
I can't imagine.
The same mother that he probably was, ain't no telling what, I don't even want to know. Like you said, ain't no telling what was going through Cash's head when this was happening to him. Probably was screaming for his mama and dad and nobody came. And now we're here to this point. Madness.
And it seems like, no, I'm not going to say that because I don't mean it. These babies were given a really shitty deck in life from the start.
Yeah.
And I also wonder why the mother chose to take the 2 girls and he took the 2 boys. I don't know how you can have 4 children and choose. I don't know how Darriynn could stand over them and choose. I would do anything to be a fly on the wall during the interrogations with Darriynn. I want to hear what he says, and he creeps me out. The way that he looks around, like even that one video where he's in the backyard and he looks in the backyard.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yes.
Just the way that he was staring at the ground. I was creeped out when he was looking at the camera and touching his hair or whatever he was touching. I don't like that. And you could just tell everything was off. And a lot of people wanted to say, maybe it was this person, maybe it was that person. But the thing is with Special K, I don't like the cracking of the smile. And I didn't like the way that he described, well, he came in through this way, he kicked the door. Okay.
Perfectly.
Well,
he described that to a T.
Yeah. How do you know?
Almost as if he gave the directions.
There's cameras all over this house, and they didn't remember it until Matthew said something.
See, oftentimes people actions calls for people to speculate. You can't You can't have a story about a kid that then got kidnapped and lost his life and then keep having the story changes, and at first you don't know him. Oh, but then you do know him, and
Yeah.
then get mad at people for speculating that you may
Exactly.
have had something to do with this situation.
I know.
Like, the madness is crazy and the madness needs to stop, and I'm really sick of hearing about it. And I just can't wait until this
Molly Golightly needs to stop.
I can't wait until this story's
She's
over.
mom shaming. What?
Mom shame. That's mom shaming because the
I'm a
mom
mom.
because the mom did her interview, tweaked out her mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. I'm the bad guy.
See,
I'm the bad guy.
No.
Because me and Tiffany Marie were concerned about the paint cans in a room, toxic paint cans.
Right.
With a crib made into a daybed for 2 4-year-olds to share, and the opposite ends of the house in a room that was unsuitable for living. That's not a living space.
Right.
I don't like that. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. It was a hoarder's place, and then with the sun. I mean, listen, and Monica's little friend said to saw Alejandra at the balloon launch. I don't know if you knew this, but pointed Alessandra out and said to Monica, there's the little snitch that's been telling on the YouTuber. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes. She told me the other day. She went to the balloon launch on Saturday.
Right.
And when she got there, she didn't get too close. And I was like, hey, get closer. And she's like, there's Monica. There was a little small, tiny African-American woman. Mm-hmm. We didn't get it on camera, but Alessandra was with her husband. They were in a big truck. And Alessandra said, Marissa, Monica had her little friend and pointed me out and said, there's that little snitch that keeps snitching to the YouTuber. So then Alessandra and her husband scoped out the place after the, 5, 10 minute, 15 minute, 36 people in attendance to this balloon launch. And did you know that Monica had a nice little soiree back at her house with 40 to 50 people? Invited them all back to her house.
So had a little party after the balloon release.
I just don't understand. Why is Monica inviting people into her house? Why is Monica being social? Why is Monica? I have all these questions. Why is she accepting food and pizza and asking people to bring her edibles and Dr. Peppers? That's not normal behavior. So if you think that I'm being too hard on this woman, oh, Marissa, you should really apologize for being so harsh. Absolutely not. This is not the behavior of someone who calls herself mommy, and you find out that this has happened, and then I want to know the timing of how quickly Daily Mail got to them. I don't think that she reached out to Daily Mail. I think Daily Mail got a hit on the story and contacted them and said, hey, we pay. Because those two rag magazines, they pay. So does TMZ. CNN, everything else like that, they don't. Right. And like Dr. Phil, they don't pay unless you have a really good story. And then they pay up to $200,000.
This is interesting.
It depends on how. And the thing is she was an easy target. And the thing is Monica has to know that there are people trying to get near her so they can get her on film, get her recorded. They're using her. And you want to know something. So this one dude's trying to get really super, super close, and fine, he did. And he's like all proud. But think about it. He's being totally fake. Right. Okay? He's being totally fake about it, because by becoming a Monica sympathizer, you don't really feel like that. You just feel pumped up on the energy that you're getting the attention from this person, and then, oh, your sub count's going to go up and you're going to get more views and more clout. But in the end, is it going to be worth it if someone comes knocking on your door and they're like, all right, listen, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing this. So I have not made any attempts to, I don't want to meet Monica. I don't want to see Monica. Did I try to get some flights to go down there? I did. And a friend of mine, HLN, had told me, Marissa, it's not a good idea. You stick out like a sore thumb and you're in it way too deep. She was like, I do have the gift of gab. I can talk to people. I know how to talk to people. That's what I do for a living. And with them, I stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm not going to be, I would never be able to fake it. I would not be able to fake it in front of her son. I mean, I just, you would see the disgust on my face. I have nothing to say to this woman. But
I wouldn't mind talking to Monica because I got some questions.
What do you want to know?
That I wouldn't mind asking her. I'll look her straight in her eyes and be like, "What happened to Baby Cash?" That would be my first question.
But this is the thing. I don't trust her as far as I can throw Brian St. John. I don't trust her at all. How are you gonna trust someone at their word? She needs to get help.
Yeah.
She should not be having pizza parties at her house. This woman needs help. And especially if she's threatening to hurt herself, we don't know if that's for attention or if she sincerely feels this way. We don't know if she's basking in attention, or we don't know if she's completely spaced out. But her and Cash's father, biological father, they all need help. They need help. And stop making it about themselves. They're weaponizing this child, Melinda and Trevor. They're weaponizing this child and using him and fighting and making it about themselves when they need to just stop and do what needs to be done and they need to move forward for themselves. Right? I'm sure you agree with that.
It may be hard to move forward if I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't even gonna say that.
We have to lay that baby to rest. We can't leave him there. Yeah. We can't leave him there. And they're fighting.
I couldn't even,
because mommy doesn't want daddy over there
to come to the funeral. And if I was daddy, I would be at the funeral regardless of who wanted me to be there. See, this is what I'm saying when I be like, you need to be a dad. You too scared of jail and you too scared of rehab when you should have been scared of losing your son more than anything.
They don't care.
Ain't nobody.
They're very selfish.
Ain't nobody telling me. Hold on, real quick. Ain't nobody telling me I can't come to my son's funeral.
God forbid.
Ain't nobody telling me I can't come to my son's funeral. And this is just hypothetically me speaking, because I'm supposed to outlive my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids supposed to outlive me. You understand? They supposed to be coming to my funeral. I don't want to bury none of my kids.
Everyone's worst nightmare. I have a little boy, 14.
Yeah, I didn't know you had kids. I didn't know you had kids, Molly.
Well, did you think someone wouldn't have picked me up and wanted me to have their baby? Of course. I've been married for almost 18 years. 18 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, I got a good boy. But if it wasn't for Tiffany Marie, I'm talking to her right now. I'm on Madness's Crime News right now. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, come on, if it wasn't for you. And you want to know something?
Talk to me.
God bless you for doing and starting this from the jump. You started it. You really did. But you want to know something?
Yes.
Tiffany was just like, you know what? He just needs a louder voice. And you want to know something? My voice was very, very powerful with the Chris Watts case. My voice was powerful with Justice for Junior. But the thing is I can't handle child abuse. I can't handle crimes with children. I'm extremely sensitive. I just can't. And, Tiffany said, I didn't want to like involve you with this one because I know how you get. But this is the thing. When I do it, I go hard. Once I get there, I don't come back. Right. And the thing is when I do true crime, and there's a lot of comments on my channel. I know you don't have time to look at it, but you'll see tons of comments where they're like, "Oh my God, Molly, you're back. I love it when you do true crime." Because I just am very expressive. I'm very honest, and I'm not, the docile storyteller type channel. A lot of those crime channels, these hosts are very, and then blah, blah, blah. I can't sit through that nonsense. No. Either make it quick and I'll watch Identification Discovery, or I'll watch blah, 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 blah. But for me, I think that a lot of people appreciate the fact that I'm saying, things like, listen to this crackhead over here. But that's how I feel. And that's how a lot of people feel. And you're never going to see people like Nancy Grace and people on TV, on the news saying, check out this hovel piece of crap over here. It's never going to happen. But on my channel, I keep it real. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Right. This mother F is going down.
Like me, I'm not, like I tell people all the time, I'm not politically correct over here.
Yeah. Because, no, I'm 10 times worse.
Right. Being politically.
No, I get crazy, but I have a big heart. So you're either going to really love me or you're going to be like, all right, I can't vibe with her. And that's okay. But the thing is they still watch. And I have been respected for what I have done in true crime, but I'm not a true crime channel. I'm just kind of like, I'm too all over the place to stick to any one topic. I've covered everything. I even have recipes on my channel, but this might, Tiffany Marie's really upset.
Why?
She said, I can't. I had to end my life. Aw. What? I guess she started reading this morning the court documents and stuff like that. I don't know exactly what she heard. I only got a small modicum of information. I was going to wait, decompress, put on my pajamas, and kind of go through it. I remember when we got the discovery with Chris Watts, a lot of people found me. I look like total crap. I look like a total cuckoo bird. And it was Thanksgiving night, and I'm reading 200 pages of, the discovery that the police had put out. And that's when I realized that Shanann Watts was, a real person. I felt so bad. And do you want to know something? So many people had said so many horrible things about Shanann Watts. I wasn't one of them. I was the one that got drunk and put the little stickers on my chest. That was me. And yeah, that was bad. But nowhere in comparison to the people that were like, she deserved it. She was a bitch. She brought it on herself. People actually said that. And Shanann's family saw it. I mean.
And they got mad at you. Is that what happened?
They got mad at me because of the stickers. They said that I mocked her, but I do impressions on my channel all the time. And I was drinking that night. Don't drink and live stream at the same time. It'll probably get you in trouble if you care. But it happens. And the good that came out of it was it brought, when somebody clipped that part and put it out, and it was a negative thing. I wish I wouldn't have done it. What's funny is when that had actually happened that night, hundreds of people were in the chat and they were laughing their asses off. They were laughing. And so many other creators were saying horrible things about Shanann. I wasn't. I was just like, oh, look at this. But then when they clipped that and they wrote something so negative, and this is the thing, people don't realize that their negativity always seems to boomerang and then comes back. So I woke up the next day and I was over 2,000 followers because of that person clipping that. And then I apologized over and over again. And then all of a sudden, I'm in contact with Shanann's family. And they said, we forgive you. And from there on, it changed. And I'm not trying to compare the Watts. Totally different than Baby Cash, two completely different set of circumstances. Some people did question, though, her parenting. They were saying that she was a horrible mother for giving her kids Benadryl. She was a horrible mother for putting her kids in date. I mean, just anything horrible you can think of, they said about her. And it was not me. But they all flocked to me because, well, who had the highest subscriber count? Who had the most people in their lives? It was me. People were building channels. All they had to do was make one video with Molly Golightly in their sentence, and boom, their channel went up. And I had like 8 people that got monetized, that I helped get monetized in 3 weeks just by being on that thing. And my sub count was huge. And that's why I've been called the Queen of Chris Watts. I am not the queen of the Cash Gurnan, but I did hear that it's picking up a lot of steam on TikTok. I don't do TikTok. That's not my thing. I don't know what they're using on TikTok. I'm not familiar with what's going on with TikTok.
Okay, hold on. Madness. Hold on. We got to get back to Baby Cash. Hold on. We got to get back to Baby Cash.
Yeah, they're talking about Baby Cash on TikTok.
They got a TikTok dance about Baby Cash?
I don't think it's a TikTok dance. I haven't seen it. They're posting about Cash Gurnan, hashtag Justice for Cash Gurnan, but somehow there's something on there that they're floating around that has my name in it. That's what I'm saying, is it's on TikTok, but I don't know exactly what it is because I don't use the app. I don't have any followers. I don't have nothing. I've seen TikTok videos, but I've never, utilized it for anything. So he is trending over there. You get what I'm saying? And that's the point. We want people to talk about him.
Are you aware of an official, like a real GoFundMe page for Baby Cash? I've seen a lot of fake ones out there. Have you came across one that was an official GoFundMe for Baby Cash, where people who wants to help with the funeral cost arrangements, that want to help with Baby Cash, or have they all, because all the ones I seen, they all got called out by somebody saying that this person is just doing this GoFundMe to get money. And I really wish we had an official one. So, all these people that's concerned about Baby Cash can help.
Well, a new GoFundMe just came to my attention. Okay, remembering Baby Cash with a K always, organized by Sarah Nelson. Now look at the name. Can you see the name?
Yeah.
Leslie Pinkerton.
Okay, yeah.
This is the person that was in my live last night. This Leslie Pinkerton. Leslie Pinkerton lives in the house.
Yeah, and that's a official.
I will not give a penny to GoFundMe ever.
Okay.
Every time that I've ever given money to GoFundMe, it's been. Now I do know that under the state of Texas, and I think in most states, if the child is under 6, there is capital murder charges, and it's automatic death penalty. But the state does pick up funeral costs. I think that there should be a foundation for Carter, if people want to donate to Carter, like a college fund.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think that money should go to Monica?
No.
Or the parents? No, I don't.
That's the bad thing about that. You're correct, because I mean, all the parents in this particular case is on meth, so we can't necessarily trust them with a whole lot of money.
No,
because chances is it's gonna go back to drugs again. Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Crimes and investigations. Hold on one quick, Molly. Crimes and investigations has been asking to come on here. The link is in the chat.
Do you want me? I can step down. We're all good, all right?
Oh, me. Oh, yeah, Molly, me and you good. I'm glad that you took the time to come on.
I honestly just wanted to thank you. When I saw Alessandra up here, I was like, oh my God, how sweet. The girl's been such an angel through this whole thing. Can you believe she lived right next door to him?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Did she tell you that she saw him 3 times exposing himself?
Yeah, she said that.
Insane.
Like,
that's insane.
She's right next to the action. Too close to the action. Don't nobody want to be that close to that madness.
You love that word, huh?
I mean, this the madness show. Like, the madness will never stop. Like I said earlier, I got some people who be like, "Can you please stop saying madness?" I got other people who love that I say madness, and it's like, well,
I get a lot of hashtag madness in my chat.
It's the madness show. I'm gonna say madness.
Yeah, they do write that. They write hashtag madness.
That's like going to the finish line and saying, "Do you got to keep selling shoes?" Yes. Do you got to keep saying madness? Yes, I will keep saying madness because that's me. I'm authentic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, when I started Stop the Madness Crime News, I wanted to bring awareness to the madness that was going on and help people make better decisions. Because we all, including you, Molly, have been infected with the madness. We all get infected with the madness. The only difference is we have enough mental strength to overcome the madness and not do something so crazy where we're going to end up dead or end up in prison for the rest of our lives. See, these people who I do the story on, they lose to the madness. When the madness infects them, they let it overcome them to the point they do something stupid, and now you on my show because you're either dead or you in prison for the rest of your life, or you about to go to prison. I try to talk to people to try to keep them from making those bad decisions, because maybe them seeing this video, maybe they was about to do something stupid, and maybe seeing this video and seeing real live situations to help them not do that. And that's what it's really about.
Gotcha. I know.
But Molly, I would like to thank you for coming on here.
You're welcome.
I wish Tiffany.
Good night.
I wish Tiffany could have came on here as well.
What's that?
I said I wish Tiffany could have came on here as well.
Oh, she just got done off of like a 4-hour live.
Yeah. Well, tell her to come. You talking to her? Tell her to come on over here.
I will. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. You have a great one, Molly. Y'all go follow Molly. Make sure y'all go to subscribe to her channel. We have Leak You.
Yes. Hi. Stop the madness. How are you?
Madness. I'm doing good. How you doing this morning? This morning.
This evening. Hey, it's morning somewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not having a lag. It looks like I'm lagging to me, but hopefully I'm not lagging to you.
Yeah, on me, you ain't lagging at all over here.
Sweet. Okay. Hey, I wanted to say thank you for all the coverage that you've been giving to this case. And Molly Golightly as well. I've been watching her coverage on this case as well. And it's, I've been doing crimes and justice and true crime blogging for a really long time. And this is by far, it's up there in the top 10 of absolute shocking cases. Right. And I have a question for you. And I don't know if you have talked about this with your audience, but do you feel that Trevor, the father of Cash, should be able to go to his son's funeral?
Yes, I do. Yes, although I do feel like a big part of the reason what happened to baby Cash is because he left those babies with a meth head. I do feel like any father should be able to go to their kid's funeral. Like I said, wouldn't nobody be able to keep me from going to my kid's funeral? I don't care who don't like it, whatever happened, I'm going. And that's just hypothetically speaking. I always got to knock on wood because my children are going to bury me. I don't never want to bury my children. But yeah, I do think he should be able to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know, it's good to kind of hear the thoughts of other crimes and justice bloggers. I kind of looked at you. I see you're also a crimes and justice blogger, although new to me in the last week through this case. But I'm already subscribed and I've been watching you.
Make sure I subscribe
past...
back to you. What's your page name?
Leak You.
Okay.
And Crimes and Investigations. That's the page where I do all my crime cases and all that fun stuff. So you'll see I have 3 main ones. If you go to leaku.com, you'll see them in the channel's description.
Leaku.com.
So yeah, and if you just click that, go to channels, and you'll see there's 3, and each of them have a purpose. But my I do some crimes and justice on leaku.com as well. But right now I've been focusing on my crimes and investigations channel. So
is this it right here? Is that it? Or is that somebody else?
Yep, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and subscribe to that right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll subscribe to you. I love running into crimes and justice bloggers, and I'm seeing more and more of it. And it's really, really good. And the coverage on this case, as far as what I've seen, you know, you doing is fantastic. I don't know if you're in the Texas area, but this is definitely
I said no, I'm nowhere near Texas.
Okay. Well, this is definitely going to be a capital case. No question about that. And a capital case is going to be either life or death. That's how it is down here. I'm in Dallas.
So he gonna get the death penalty then if he's found.
That is a huge possibility, because what it's really going to come down to is how heinous the crime is. The fact that he seemed to have been almost, up to 10 weeks prior to this happening, he was caught on surveillance, stalking the area, looking through the gate of Monica Sherrod's backyard, trying to open cars, just on the prowl, just doing really weird things. And I understand that people have mental health conditions. I understand that. But when you look at the video of him taking cash out of that bed, it's almost as if he is wrestling within himself. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? You know, and at the end of the day, especially when he comes back, you can tell that the way he reacts to seeing the other brother still kind of awake, you could tell that he knew what he was doing was wrong. And that is what it really comes down to is, do you know the difference between right or wrong? Yeah. Many people can have mental conditions and still know the difference between what's right and what's wrong. I find it amazing that Monica Sherrod slept and continued to sleep, and a report wasn't even made until 11 o'clock that morning. And to hear the rumors of her opening GoFundMes, I don't know, these are all allegations, of course,
right,
is absolutely despicable. And I said in my video, she needs to fall all the way back. She needs to fall all the way back. Those were not her children. It is not appropriate. And, I feel like the Daily Mail also paid her for that interview. That's typically what the Daily Mail does.
Right.
To get those sorts of images and to be able to video that room, that dump of a room, may I add.
Yeah, it was something straight off of Hoarders.
It was, right? We're talking dirt everywhere on the walls. We're talking why are 2 kids sleeping on a toddler bed anyway? Generally, there'd be 1 per person.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of care put into that. And yeah, Trevor definitely made some huge mistakes leaving his children there. I don't know what the backstory is between him and Melinda, but
my thing is he had to have known that, because it's a lot of things where he's saying like, well, this is new to me. Like, I didn't know, like, she had kids taken away or et cetera or all that. I'm like, you had to have known that she was on meth. She's too far
Like,
gone off
right.
meth for you not to know. Like,
Right.
she's not a new meth head.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not a meth head himself and he was doing meth with her. Honestly, I mean, you could see the sore on her nose when she did the Daily Mail interview, and you could hear like the horsiness, you know, in her voice when she was talking, and it was so clear. You could see the state of the house too. If you did, you see when Cameron, the son, was doing the interviews,
smiling
in the front,
smiling and shit. Yeah,
and the blinds were all like broken off, and I don't even know how she affords a 6-bedroom home in Dallas, but I've heard it's a family home or something, like it's in her family or belongs to her parents, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But this is probably up there with the Malia Davis case. If not, I mean, I'm not saying Malia Davis was any less important than Cash. I'm just saying that the level of people talking about this and the level of how this has went around the world, this case, to think that someone could walk into a child's room while they're sleeping and literally just take them out of their bed. It's unbelievable.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
I ask everybody this question. Do you believe that Darriynn Brown had help, or do you believe he just did this on his own?
I believe Darriynn did this on his own.
Okay.
I do. I don't believe he had any help, because when you really think about that, to have help, what he's already doing is so sinister and so dark. It has you have to be a dark soul to take a child, to kill that child with a knife. And my understanding is that his shorts were on him when his body was found. So I believe the forensics they're waiting back on is whether or not he was sexually assaulted.
I hope and you know, those are the rumors those are the rumors that's going around, that they was being I hope that this forensics don't come back and say that not only was he murdered, he was actually sexually assaulted.
I do too. Because if that's the case, then that's going to take this in a whole different direction. There's a difference between a sexual assault murder versus someone who's completely unstable, who did a random crime and killed a child and left their body in the middle of the street. But I don't think that he had help at all. Honestly, I think that's evident also by the surveillance footage we seen for the last 10 weeks prior, where he's prowling around at night, trying to open people's car doors, peeking through gates. And neighbors reported this to police.
Right.
And, nothing was done because it was considered a low-level crime. But
now look, nothing was done because it was considered a low-level crime. Well, now you got a high-level crime on your hands now.
There you go.
Congratulations.
There you go. Exactly.
We don't never want to stop the problem before it becomes a problem.
Exactly.
We always want to wait until it's a problem. Now let's do something. Problem. And now it's too late.
And a problem like none other. Like, this is not something that happens every day. Definitely not in the city of Dallas. I mean, of course, you've got horrible people that kill children, but this here is especially heinous, especially brutal. And I've lived in Texas most of my life, and I know that they are already thinking about the death penalty in this case. They're going to try to find reasons to not try to go for the death penalty in this case. Yeah. It's either going to be death or life. He will never be a free man again. I can guarantee you that.
It's definitely going to be life without parole at the least. At the least. At the least. At this point, that's what, they should be going for, life without, because the other one, they going to send you to that chair. They like you just told me, and some people in my chat was telling me on some of my other lives, they still do the death penalty down there in Texas.
Oh, you? Oh my gosh. The death penalty, there's been times 3 people have been executed in a single day down in Huntsville.
Yes.
Even now, if you're if you are given a death sentence, these times, these ages, your appeals for one have been reduced, so you don't have as many appeals, and they're getting executed anywhere from, like, I've seen some happen within 3 years.
Dang, they getting them in that chair quick.
And the scary thing, and that would be a whole nother topic in itself, is they do the lethal injection, but we aren't allowed to know what drugs they're using. And American companies and even European companies stopped selling the drugs that they use for the lethal injections because they consider it inhumane and cruel and inhumane treatment. And but there are some, people always want to make money, and they are literally giving the lethal injection in multiple states. We don't know the formula. They will not tell us. They use the law to hide it.
Wow.
And there's been a lot of incidents that have happened where people were still breathing and really struggling, and it looked to be in a lot of pain when getting that lethal injection. Not that I think the victims really care about that, but there's still, when we're talking death penalty, there has to be some sort of decorum to that if you're gonna, be a civilized country. We're not.
Do you believe let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Do you believe, because we're talking about what's inhumane and as far as the formula, do you believe that a person who has been found guilty of murder, and let's just hypothetically say that he for a fact done this, right? And I'm not talking about Darriynn, I'm just hypothetically speaking. And let's just say he did something heinous, like he stabbed a kid and chopped off his head or something.
Right.
Do you believe that person deserves to be put down, humanely? Or do you believe that, whatever you did to this particular person, and I just like to, when I meet new people like you, I just like to see where people's heads is at.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know someone who was executed by the state of Texas. His name was Reginald Reeves. He killed a woman named Jenny Lynn Weeks. And in my 20s, when I went through that, it was very traumatic, right? Because I knew the killer, I knew her. And I really, really, really believed in the death penalty in my younger days.
Okay.
But as I've gotten older, I don't believe in the death penalty like that. There's been, when even one innocent man has the possibility of being executed, all executions should stop.
Okay.
And we have executed innocent people in the state of Texas.
Okay.
And that alone is a reason that I think we should rethink that. I think that the lethal injection being used I think it's pretty painful to them. Not that that's not really the big issue,
right?
But my views just have changed as I've gotten older. I'm 43 now, having, and I just think it's a natural progression, because when you hear all the stories of innocent people being executed, them being, found innocent 50 years later, but it's not like they can rejoice in that because they're already dead.
Right.
And
they'd be like, we're going to take these off your record. Like, okay.
Yeah. And it's like, well, what's that going to do? Nobody's getting paid. The family's not getting paid for the suffering of losing their family member. And I will never forget sitting at the funeral of Reginald Reeves after he was executed. It is a business. It has become just a straight business. And that also offended me in a way. And I think when I went through a certain health crisis of my own, I just think that my views changed. And I'm telling you, I was a very staunch death, penalty supporter at one point in my life. And I just don't feel that way anymore.
A lot of people feel like the death penalty is the easy way out as well. They like, nah, you wanted to sit here and you wanted to kill this child, or you wanted to kill whoever you killed. Nah, go ahead and sit here in prison and suffer for the next 25, 40 years of your life about the decision that you made. And I know it
costs money. Yeah, and it does. It costs money to the taxpayers and everything. But at the same time, it's a bit more of a suffering life to have to sit in prison for 20, 30, 40 years than it is to be executed in 3. Because we, per the Bible, death is just sleep, so I mean, you could look at it like that. But I just think the risk of executing an innocent, and I'll tell you, there's been a lot of men railroaded in the state, especially if you go to counties that are more rural, like a Lamar County or Red River County, some of those types of counties that we're not talking Dallas County, or Collin County's kind of rough too, but more in those rural areas. I've seen Black men given 60. I've seen one of my classmates given a 99-year sentence for hitting a man with a vacuum cleaner under the aggravated assault, charge or whatever. There's been a lot of men railroaded in this state, especially in rural counties. And you have to think about how many were given the death penalty that were also railroaded. So that also is something else that kind of toils my mind.
Did he get that sentence? Did he get that sentence reversed on appeal by any chance?
Which person?
The vacuum 99 years?
No. He is still in prison to this day.
Wow.
He went in when he was 17 years old. I am 43. I was 17, 18 at the time as well. He had a brother and a cousin that also got in trouble. But the crazy thing about it is the people that seem like they're willing to snitch,
right?
They always seem to get those short sentences. And one of the people that was involved in the altercation with him has been in and out of prison 3 times since all of that happened. And from what I understand, he's a model prisoner in his current prison.
A model prisoner?
He is a model prisoner. Like, he doesn't get in trouble. All of that. I mean, he's just, he's not a troublemaker type of,
so he
what they
wait
call
till
model prisoner.
He want to wait till he get to prison to be a model person. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's backwards. I just want him to know that's backwards. You're supposed to do that before you get to prison, so you ain't got to be in there.
Right. But sometimes, some men and people just make mistakes. And, when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you can tend to make some pretty crazy mistakes. I've got children that have went through these ages, and mistakes happen. And I don't know if all mistakes necessarily need to hold a life sentence, because we all need to learn from our mistakes. So, it's hard, man. This life is hard sometimes, isn't it? Well, it really is.
Well, especially with the way the dynamic is now, like, even especially with social media, when you saying, people need to be allowed to make mistakes, but it's like you ain't allowed to make mistakes, because they'll mess around and find some stuff you did 20 years ago, and then they got this whole cancel culture going on now.
Yes.
And they like, hey, this happened he said this or she said this 20 years ago. Like, okay. Like,
it's ridiculous. I think that the cancel culture has went too far in my opinion. That the cancel culture, it takes one single thing, one scandal, and it's like, cancel that person out for good. And then before long, you see, 100 bloggers talking, something negative. And these things can have real life effects on these people. People think celebrities, are like in the sky hovering or something. They're just normal, everyday people like me and you. Some of them have more money than us, and some of them don't.
Yeah, some of them
they just have fame, So yeah, it's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, so pretty much Darriynn ain't got a chance down there in Texas at all.
No, Darriynn.
It's over.
Yeah. You know what really got him? That nanny cam footage. That got him. Like, even if they didn't have the nanny cam footage and they had the footage showing him like peeking through the gates and opening up the doors, they never really could have been able to like pin that on him as far as like having something to do with Cash's death. But that nanny cam did it. And I don't know who, like one thing I trip out on is who thought to put a nanny cam in, and the room is a complete dump. Like, thank God, you know, somebody thought to put the nanny cam in.
Right.
I don't know what made them do it. I don't know who made that decision. But I am very grateful that they did. And if you look at that footage, you'll notice that that night, Carter, Cash's brother, was a bit restless. So I kind of wonder if maybe something happened before, because remember the first part of the footage, we see him up walking,
Right.
and then he crawls back into bed. And it's like, you know, he kept kind of wrestling, moving around, and he was really, really restless. And I just wonder, you know, sometimes about that, if maybe God was like tapping him on the shoulder, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But, or if maybe Darriynn came in the house prior to that and woke him up and then got spooked and then came back. I mean, we don't know.
Right.
But all the
Also,
details.
just all speculation at the moment.
Right.
But even
exactly. All speculation.
But even as I'm looking at my chat right now, it's really 50-50 on these. Like, nah, I don't believe he did this by himself.
Yeah.
And then you got people saying, nah, that was absolutely him. Y'all need to accept the fact that he did it. He did it by himself because he's nuts, you know, and every
I mean, think
crime
about having to enlist someone. It's like me, you know, you do crime news, of course, you know, and I'm so glad I came upon your channel. And I've done like crime blogging for well over a decade now.
Right.
And you know, I've never seen someone now I've seen some crazy stories. You know, I've talked about some crazy stories, but we're talking about someone else having to be solicited to murder and brutally kill a child with a stabbing weapon. You know, it's like, why would anyone help him? And then you notice he comes back that morning and it looks like he's got on different clothes. Like maybe he was too bloody from the other set. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I think more will come out. There's lots of footage and lots of video cameras around. If anybody else was involved, I hope that we'll see footage of him carrying Cash down the street or something. Somebody had solidify it.
Somebody had to catch him on the camera. If all these people got doorbell cameras, he has to be on somebody doorbell camera carrying. If he was carrying them. Or if he put him in a car, because, you know, there's also speculation if, you know, they transported him in the car and then dumped him out to make it look a certain way. We don't know, but he has to be on
you're
something.
Right. Everyone has ring. Like, there's got to be something showing him, you know, and maybe I implore anyone, you know, watching this, check, if you live in that area, check your cameras, go all the way back. And if you see anything, call the police, let them know. But, and you know, we didn't see a second person peeking through those gates. We didn't see a second person, you know, trying to open those car doors. You know, we didn't see a second person in that room. Not that we would necessarily expect that.
Right.
But like up to 10 weeks prior, we'd never seen a second person. So I think, you know, it'll be, it's good that people debate in this manner. And, you know, we will see what it will be. I really hope that Darriynn will talk, but there's something different about Darriynn. You know, I know they're not charging him with murder because they're waiting on forensics. And I know why they're waiting on forensics, because they want to know if he was assaulted in any way. But I sure am curious about how those interrogation interviews are going right now.
Me too. Like,
he seems just off.
Is he still, like, is he proclaiming his innocence?
I haven't heard that at all. I have heard nothing, zero zilch from Dallas Police Department on anything regarding an interview, an interrogation, like nothing. When I tell you the lips are tight, are sealed so tight right now by DPD, it's not funny. They are not saying a word.
I got somebody very close to that, like very close to that situation. Actually, I'm gonna try to ask him tonight and be like, so do he plan on moving forward, you know, innocent, or, you know, is he going to plead
Right.
guilty?
Because he's going to have to plead soon, right? Either
Yeah.
guilty or not guilty or something, but he'll do that once he gets arraigned on those charges. But yeah, you know, one thing too to think about is if there is a mental health issue in play here, the police are doing the right thing by not saying anything, because we all know that is a card that many lawyers play to
Right.
get death penalty off the table.
Like, he's not competent. Yeah.
So, you know, they're not going to want to talk too much, because they're not even going to want his lawyer to know what they're thinking.
Hold on one second. Grandma Ducky said, Madness, what are your thoughts that he possibly did this for revenge? Monica told him 2 days earlier that he was creeping out the kids and was never welcome there again.
Now that's what she said, though, right?
That's what.
I don't know if I believe her when she says that, because what was it? At first she didn't know him, and then her son knew him, and then he came over to the house once, and then all of a sudden
he's there every day.
Warning him.
Right.
Yeah, like, what are you warning him for? Obviously, if you're warning him, you felt he was a danger. So she still didn't act responsible if that's the case. So I don't know if I believe her about that. I think she's embellishing a little bit. And I implore her to step all the way back. Don't elicit no more GoFundMes. Step back, go move on with your life. And you should be really glad you're not being charged with like negligence or something like that. Seriously, because Texas does not play. We mean it. That sign, don't mess with Texas.
Right.
That's real.
Especially when it comes to the law.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I was doing a video and talking about this, and then, I got to cooking some food, and I seen you were live, and I seen that it was, a call in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to call in and talk to him about this, because we're both covering the case, and I was just so curious of your thoughts on this.
Yeah, and I be wanting people I be doing these lives for like y'all a lot of time. Like when it's a call-in show like this, I'll be wanting y'all to call in. Now, people lately has been very shy, but it's starting to pick up. Y'all starting to call in more and more, which is making me happy, because I want to know what y'all thinking out there.
Absolutely.
Like y'all be saying a lot in the chat be booming, and I'm like, come on over here so we can talk and have a dialogue, see what we thinking.
Yeah. Well, people are shy too. Sometimes they don't want to put their faces on camera. There's a lot of doxing going on YouTube, a lot of, just crazy stuff, and people are just shy. I have to do the same thing. I ended up on my StreamYard, I disabled audio avatar. So when you come up, you won't even see your avatar. You'll just be heard. Right. And that seemed to make my people a little bit more comfortable. And I ended up with 5 people up on my panel today. So that was good. We had a really good conversation about this whole case, and especially whether or not Trevor should be allowed to go to his son's funeral. And I absolutely believe he should. I hope that Melinda will not make a mistake. You can be very angry right now and could make a mistake that you will really, really regret. And it's just not your call. They could do a number of things. They could let the father's family come in, then the mother's family come in separately. There's a bunch of ways to do this, but don't deny him access to see his son out of anger. Right. It's just not right. Because ultimately he's not the one that he's irresponsible, but he didn't kill him.
Right. He didn't kill his son. He left him there, but he ain't the one who, dumped him in the middle of the road and everything like that. So
that's right. And she has responsibility in it too. Her actions and her choices also led to what's going on. I'm not saying that everything she did was wrong, and we don't know all the details, but still her son was in this woman's house, and some actions had to have led to that. And I don't know what the situation is with her too much, but it would be devastating. And I know she wants to hurt him. She wants to hurt his heart because she feels pain, and she wants him to feel as much pain as she's feeling right now because her son is dead. And I completely understand.
I think they're gonna try to jump him or something if they see
Oh
him at the
yeah.
funeral. Like they gonna try to put hands and feet on him.
Oh my God, hands, feet. They're gonna freaking body slam him.
Now,
everything. Like
now, why is it that if you know this answer, he had the boys, right? But then
Yes.
Melinda had the other kids, right?
I don't think she has any other kids. I think the twins are it. I think Monica's the one that has 4 kids.
Okay.
And then the 2 twins from Trevor. But here's the thing. Think about it. A man comes in February, brings his twin sons. He leaves you in March. I am convinced, but I'm only 99% convinced, but I believe Monica may have been getting some sort of TANF benefits for having the twins there, meaning food stamps.
And that's why she didn't say nothing, because she was still getting that money. And
yeah,
I mean,
what woman's going to take on 2 twin boys that are 4 years old during COVID, and she's already got 4 kids of her own?
And a drug problem.
Who does that? Yeah, and a drug problem. And it's like, we know they sell, people sell food stamps all the time. It doesn't matter that it's on card, but like, who's going to do that and not benefit from it somehow?
Yeah, I agree.
It just, and especially being on meth and stuff, or being on any sort of drugs, like, why would she just take on 2 kids just for the heck of it if she's not benefiting? I believe that she was most likely getting some sort of state benefits for those 2 children.
I know people who done had people their parent or grandparent they had living with them die and didn't report it, so they can keep getting the money.
Yep.
So that
happens a lot.
That's a very good point that you brought up there. Like, yeah, that would make sense for why because they like, well, why wouldn't she say anything? Well, she's still getting that money
paid. Yeah. I mean, we're talking 6 kids, okay, in Texas. We're talking about easy over $1,000 a month just in food stamps alone. With 3 kids on food stamps, you would get $500-$600 a month. For 6, she would have been clearing well over $1,000 just on food stamps. Period. I mean, Texas is very generous
and probably
when it comes
them
to food stamps.
You know how you sell your food stamps.
Oh yes, are you kidding me? Here's the TANF card. It's like, I'll give you $500 worth of food stamps for $250 worth of cash, and then maybe I can buy my meth.
That's exactly how the game works.
You know what I mean?
You know how the game works with them stamps. Yep. Come on, let's go to the store together. What you need?
Yeah, exactly. Or if you trust them long enough, you just give them the card, because they're going to bring it back, because they're going to be coming back each month. I mean, are you kidding? To be able to get $500 in groceries for only $250, I'd take that deal. I'd be lying if I was to say I wouldn't.
Every time,
take a deal like that.
Every time.
That's double. I'm doubling the amount of food I can put in my household that way. But that means that the children in the house aren't getting. I would have loved it if Daily Mail would have opened her refrigerator and her cabinets. That would have been nice to see how much food she had in the house.
Mug was probably full.
It was filthy. I know that.
Yeah, it was filthy, but full.
I mean, oh my gosh. Yes. It did seem like a hoarder. And I would not be surprised if the son is watching you right now, Cameron.
Oh,
honestly, well, I would not be surprised.
Well, I would love if he came on here and talked, because I definitely got some questions I'd like to ask him.
Oh yeah, I think I would not be. My understanding is at one point there was someone blogging, and they were live, on YouTube, and Cameron was definitely watching them, because they were driving by his house, and he stepped out at that very moment. So, I mean, this is such a huge case, and it's not typical in murder cases like this, where you will see people live 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row or 6 days after it happened. This is a big case. I guarantee you they're searching their names, as they're searching their hashtags, and there's no question that they're watching you, they're watching me, they're watching Molly Golightly, they're watching Crimes and Investigations channel. No question about that.
All right. Leak you, I would like to thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you for letting me on. It's been a pleasure talking with you. You should come by sometime.
I definitely will.
Visit me on the channel.
I definitely will try to come catch one of your lives as well, you know?
Definitely. I appreciate it. And hey, it's really been a pleasure speaking with you. I always enjoy talking with, people that of a like mindset. So I'm going to drop on off of here, get some rest for tomorrow. So, hey, have a good rest of your show.
You too. Thank you. Be safe.
All right.
Okay?
Take care now.
Madness.
Bye now.
So much greatness going on tonight. So much dialogue going on tonight. Now, Tipsy Girl been saying she wants to come on here. So, Tipsy Girl, I'm about to try to get you on here right now. You said you got a lot to say. So, Tipsy Girl, I just dropped the link for you. You say you got a lot to say. If you got a lot to say, come on, stop the madness. Madness. Let's talk. Let's see if she comes on. And everybody, if you're watching this right now, okay, we got somebody on here. Is this Tipsy Girl?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Hey, Madness.
How you doing,
Do you mind
Madness?
if Shoot the Shit comes up with us?
You said what?
Do you mind if Shoot the Shit comes up with us?
Oh, no. They can come on.
I love her channel. She's so in with this case. I mean, she nails it. Everything. I agree 100%.
Okay, let
Shoot the Shit. Do you want to come up with me?
All right, we got Tipsy Girl, and who you said coming on with you?
Shoot the Shit.
Shoot the Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you had a lot to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor. What you got to say?
I think this is just tragic. I think it's horrible. It's a nightmare. I think that there's a lot of people that were to be held responsible. I think the police dropped the ball. They're responsible. The parents, the mother never called those kids for how many months they were gone. If that was my kids, I'd be calling every day.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never just not hear from my boys like that. Like, you don't just give up your kids. You know what I mean? That's just wrong.
I would have been on every news station. I would have been on every news station, every tweet, every Instagram page.
Amber alert, Amber alert. Like, where's my kids?
Right.
But the father, I mean, he obviously just abandoned them and, because he's worried about going to jail and took off, left them with this house and this woman just by her interviews and seeing everything. Do you think that's right for a child?
Oh, absolutely not.
Do you think that's providing care and protection? No.
Absolutely not.
Now, like, that you have one job as a parent: protect your child. Children's come first. Like, they're fighting over his funeral. Like, put the kid first for once in their lives. Like, quit making it about you.
It's a shame that even in death, it's still about them.
Exactly. It's so frustrating because that boy deserves such a nice, wonderful memorial and funeral. Like, it's just wrong. And I don't want to go pointing fingers at people because I don't know all the facts to the case. I understand. But all we do know is there's a child that is gone, and he was taken in a horrific way, and this should never have happened.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody else. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that Darriynn Brown did this all on his own, or do you believe that he had help doing it?
Madness. There was 8 people in that house? Her stepfather, her mother. There's the boy, the daughter. the 4 dogs and the kids, like, and Monica. You mean to tell me, out of 8 people in a house and 4 dogs, that man could slip in there twice, not just once, twice in daylight?
Nobody
That
nobody
could be
heard
Carter.
nothing.
Carter could have been dead. He was right there in front of him.
Mm.
I thought he was spooked by something because you could see he was going for him, and nobody heard nothing. Are you kidding me? Pit bulls. They're pit bulls. 4 pit bulls. They're protective and they're territorial. That is definitely known of them. That's their breed. They're a dangerous breed considered. But
Yeah.
I love pit bulls. They're not really dangerous.
can't-
Everybody considers it.
You can't mess with their family. They don't play that.
Right. And they will rip someone up. Like, they don't. They're strong dogs. And twice he got in there and they didn't hear it. Like, I don't buy it. And then okay. And then you have 2 boys, and he takes one of them. Why didn't he resist? Why didn't he scream?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Anything. Like, I mean, maybe he was familiar with him. Maybe they both were, because when I saw the video, and you guys in chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but
Okay.
whenever the video starts, Carter's getting in bed, Cash is already asleep. And then he comes in and takes Cash. Carter was still awake. He just laid down with him. You would think he would have, like, said, "What are you doing?" Or, try to go with him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? I don't know. Something is off about that. I feel like they were familiar with him in a way, that he was around a lot, because usually kids don't just go with strangers. Like, they're hesitant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would say something.
It's like, I don't know you. Put me down. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Especially, like, when he was sleeping. Like, you just woke him up and just ripped him out of bed. A kid should be saying something.
Your friend is on here. Shoot.
Yeah, bring her up.
Can you hear me shoot the shit?
Yes, I can. And hi, Madness.
How you doing?
First of all, I would like to say you've done a fantastic job on this.
Thank you.
I come from Molly and Tiffany's channels,
Mhm.
and so I've been following it really close. I think that, all the speculation, and believe you me, I'm right there with Molly and Tiffany and you.
Mhm.
There is no way in hell that Monica and that whole house full did not hear something. You cannot convince me. I mean, they would have had to have been so messed up on the drug that they could not, they were in a coma or something, because not only did he come once, he came twice. I mean, and the second time he'd come, they'd already found the child. They were all still sleeping. And no sirens were heard. I mean, this was not that far from their house.
Nope.
No sirens. They had the ambulance, they had the police. There were sirens. Those dogs didn't bark over the sirens.
Over nothing. They just.
I mean,
they was just chilling.
And as far as everybody assuming, including myself,
right,
that Monica and her family members may be in on it, it's because of their actions.
Yep, absolutely.
That's facts.
When you're on there and you are so strung out that you can't even blink your eyes.
Try to pretend to cry, laugh and smile. The boy was laughing in his interview. I agree with you 100%.
Well, not even, I don't know, the laughing part could just mean he was nervous, but hers was not.
She tried to pretend to cry and couldn't.
But the fact that but really what bothers me about this story, all of it does, but one of the things that sticks out is, just like, I think it was 2 days prior to this happening, Darriynn broke in to another home with it was a grandmother and her grandchild, 4 or 5 years old. And he was trying to kidnap that child. And what I want to know is, why did that not make the news? Why in the
How
hell
did
did
you
they
get away
not
with
report that on the news?
That's a
If
good.
that happened here,
That's a
if
good
that
question.
happened
They
where
didn't.
I
That
live,
they didn't make the news. That's a good question.
Yeah,
A failed
absolutely. I
kidnap. A
love what you
failed
said.
kidnapping. That was a failed kidnapping.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's serious shit right there.
You
Why
broke
would
in
that
our
not
home.
be all over the local news of, hey, this resident, he broke in, he tried to kidnap this girl. You telling me that was not newsworthy? We're not talking about breaking into a car and stealing change. We're talking about entering a home and trying to take a child.
Yep. Yep.
And that was not on the news to make these other neighbors aware of what he had just done.
Well, there was 2 videos of him, looking at the gate, trying to get in other people's vehicles. Like,
Yeah,
they
but
knew
if you put all that aside, because they can just say, oh, well, he's just being a teenager trying to steal change out of a car, but it changes when you actually enter a home and you pick up a child, which he did.
Twice. Well, he
And
got that little girl.
luckily, the grandmother caught him.
Thank God.
Otherwise, that kid could have been cash before cash.
Absolutely. That's why I think it'll be
Absolutely.
premeditated. Absolutely premeditated, because he had already tried this previously and got caught. And why was he even out after doing that? There shouldn't have been a bond on that one.
Shoot the shit. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When he was at that, there's a video of him trying to look in that gate. Do you think that the boys were there?
No.
You just think he just opened it, looked in to see, and then stopped?
That's just what he does. I mean, listen, this kid has mental issues. It's obvious. Anybody that would do that has got mental issues. And why, I don't understand. I really, for the life of me, cannot figure out why the first attempt did not get coverage so that the people in the community could be aware that, okay, now it's escalated. No longer is he just busting out cameras and cars. I mean, don't you think that he was busting out cameras because he knew he was going to do this?
Yeah.
And this way he wouldn't be caught on cameras?
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think he just woke up and was like, I'm going to go kill this little kid today?
No. I think he was previously going around breaking everybody's cameras and then realized, hey, this house, look at it. They're poor. They're poor. They probably don't even have a camera.
Yep.
Let me ask.
He thought he was safe.
Let me ask both of y'all a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I done had quite a few people hit me up. And if y'all wanna reach me for anything, y'all can reach me on Facebook at Stop the Madness Crime News, or you can reach me on Instagram at STM Crime News. I know it only got 3 posts on there, but that is me. I'm trying to put all my videos on there.
I'll follow you. Definitely.
What y'all think about the theory that Darriynn Brown has mental issues?
Oh, I absolutely believe that.
And since he has mental issues, they know that they can get him to do whatever they want him to do, because a lot of people that have mental issues, a lot of them may be lonely, or they may just want a friend, and they're willing to do anything for their friend, even though that person's not necessarily their friend. Now,
I feel very confident in answering this question.
Somebody has said that they think, now this is just a theory, so I don't want to hear nobody out there saying that. This is just a theory that somebody brought to me, that Cameron or Monica was able to convince Darriynn to do something to baby Cash, and they used his mental disabilities against him. What y'all think about that?
Okay.
I thought that at first.
I can tell you, I have a special needs daughter. She's about to be 21. Now she wouldn't do anything like that, but she will do anything to have a friend. Anything. If they say, oh, I like your TV, she'll say, here, you can have it.
Yep.
She's done this. That's why I'm using it as an example.
Yep.
Anything to fit in, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, unfortunately, there are people that will take advantage of that situation. And I absolutely believe that Monica took advantage of his situation. I could be very wrong. This is just my opinion.
Yep.
From what I see and what we've seen, I feel like that he was very much manipulated into doing something that maybe that he may have done it without it, but I feel like she played a part in it somehow. Her or Cameron. I'm still just baffled at the fact that Cameron knew exactly the route he took, every step he made. He tells us that the garage door lock was broke and they used a chain. So he had to get through a chained door. Then he had to kick down a door and not wake anybody up. And he managed, a mentally challenged person managed this without any problem.
8
Not
people
once,
and 4
but
dogs.
twice.
8 people and 4 dogs. Yep.
What was your question, Tipsy Girl?
Okay. If this theory that we're talking about is gonna, be brought up and it could be like what happened, are you worried that he might be able to get off because of mental defect and disease, like because he's mentally, you know what I mean?
I do believe that is
there a chance for that, do you think?
Yeah, I think, I always think it's a chance for that, because even when a person's don't have a mental disability, that's always what the lawyer would try to, on cases like this, that's always the first thing that they do. They plead insanity, right?
But that's the hardest one to win, is an insanity plea. But I think he may actually fit the bill.
Yep, that's what I'm afraid
because
of.
he was, according to his mother, he was receiving mental health. He had mental health issues. We don't know at what degree. He may be functioning as a second grader. We have no idea. Now, can he distinguish right from wrong? That will be the question.
Yeah, like Leak You, who came on right before y'all, she was like, do he know what's right and do he know what's wrong? Even if he do got mental disabilities, it's going to be a huge question that they're going to play in this case.
Right.
And that's
but I absolutely believe that he will plead insanity.
Yes. Yep.
I think,
like I said earlier, though, they say the cops came out and said that they have documented video of what happened, of the scene and stuff like that. So they know who did it. And as far as charging him with murder, do you think because they're not doing it right away that means that other people could be involved?
Well, they say that they're waiting on the forensics before they, from my understanding and from my sources and what people is telling me, once this forensics come back, they're gonna hit him with the murder 1 charge, and that's all they're waiting for.
So why can't they have him doing it? You know what I mean? It's videoed,
right?
And also, when the forensics come back, they may add more people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're doing.
I think they just have him. I think they just are saying that they have that he kidnapped Cash, but I don't think until the forensics came back that they can say that he murdered Cash. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. That is.
Indiana Ario, they don't have him doing it. See, I was under the impression from Molly that the cops came out with a statement saying that they do have video documentation.
Yeah, it was said that they have the entire process. Yep. I'm pretty sure that when he gets off into the woods, there's no cameras. But from the time he got the child, got to the woods, and then delivered the child to the resting point, there's footage.
I pray for those officers that have to see that. Like, I couldn't do it. I'd break. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm sure they probably got flooded with videos from all of the neighbors that have the cameras.
That's what we was talking about. We was like, if he carried this baby, like he had to have walked past all these, like somebody got him on their camera, and maybe the police got that.
Wouldn't he be resisting? He's carrying him up through the woods. Like, wouldn't he try to, like, you know what I mean?
Well, the child was asleep though. He probably didn't get woke up until they were out of the house.
And remember, like the child know this guy. Like I don't believe this guy's a stranger to this child. So
he was at their house a few days prior to that while Monica was at the grocery store.
They let him in.
And when she came back, according to her, she said he was not to be there anymore. She didn't want anything else to do with him.
Well, let me ask you this: was on the Darriynn, I think his name is. Does anybody know if there was like scratch marks or any kind of, like, you know what I mean?
They haven't said.
Trying to fight or whatever.
I haven't
I haven't heard anything about that, but I can guarantee you that if with him having mental health issues, I doubt that he covered the crime. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
He didn't cover his tracks very well.
And that boy getting hurt like that.
They probably got his clothes covered in blood, his shoes.
Yep.
I mean, probably the backpack.
Fight or flight. Yep.
I think everything. It's going to be horrendous when they come on and give us the details. It's going to be just absolutely horrendous.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, we waiting for this news.
I hope he did act alone. I hope that.
I pray
that they're not that desperate for drugs or anything that they would take a child's life. That it would have to be somebody that is cuckoo.
Now,
can I say too that little boy was not Monica's. That is not her son.
Hold on real quick. Somebody in the comment section says, as the wife of a retired Oakland cop, no, his bail and charge was for a reason. There is more people involved. Some of this is police tactics. But remember, we need a solid case to present to the DA.
Amen. That's why I say, I think the fact that they made an announcement, and remember, it wasn't even a publicized announcement. That was at a council meeting. That wasn't at a press conference. And they just said, they've been cleared. Maybe they say that so that they will start to feel, secure in that they're okay and start talking, because they all of a sudden, in a few weeks from now, they start feeling like everything's good to go. And they start
on meth. I mean, come on, you're gonna start talking. You tweet out.
There's a ton of cases where they announced that the person was not a suspect, and even a year later get arrested and charged.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I definitely believe that. I just can't wrap my head around it being just him.
And can I say, like, for the family's sake, like, if you're gonna donate, don't donate to the GoFundMe that these people are making. The donation should go towards the funeral for cash, I believe. I think that people should donate to make sure that he has a beautiful stone and, a nice casket and stuff. I wouldn't donate to the people that are, family, because they're druggies. They're all on drugs, and it's going to go right back to it.
Yep.
So Madness, have you heard anything? Do you know anything about Darriynn? I mean, there's been very little about him.
Yeah, I didn't heard some things about Darriynn. Of quite a few people that's close to Darriynn believe that he is being framed, believe that he is being set up. As far as being a troubled kid, okay, but as far as being a murderer, absolutely not. And that's just, some of the things that was told to me personally.
Can I ask you?
So do you have any knowledge that, I know he has siblings that are younger than him. Do you have any knowledge of whether or not he had issues with his siblings when they were younger, around the 4 or 5 year old age.
I haven't asked that question, but that's a good question. When I talked to one of my sources that's close to Darriynn, I asked them that question and see if they'll mind if I can put that out there, because sometimes sources tell you things that they don't mind you saying, and other times it's kind of like just between you and them between you and them type of thing. But that is a good question. I definitely asked them that.
I mean, I would love to know his home dynamics. Like, do both parents still live together? Are both parents still married, living in the same home?
I ain't hear nothing about that.
And
was his home broken or? Yeah, absolutely.
We heard that he was wearing an ankle monitor.
Yeah.
So the mother had to be aware of all of this activity that he had been getting into previous to this. She was very well aware of him breaking in and trying to kidnap the other child.
Because
I would love to know, how he was still able to get out at 3 a.m. and just roam all over the place.
Walk up in place.
Because I was actually about to have a yesterday I was actually gonna have an interview with somebody very close to Darriynn, but they end up saying that they're at this point they can't talk about it.
Understandable. Absolutely understandable. Can I ask you a question, both of you? If he didn't act alone and others were involved, what would be the motive for his death? What do you think would be the reason for it?
Well, I think it's going to be money.
Money.
Yeah. Always money.
Money?
Drug.
You think it's money for like the drugs and stuff, or the GoFundMes, or what do you think? Like,
it would be, a couple of theories that was out there is that something was happening to Cash. Cash is old enough to talk, so Cash had to be disposed of.
Exactly. And he didn't like fight. He didn't defend himself. He didn't say something when he took him. I don't buy it.
Well, yeah, but now wait a minute. You're saying he didn't fight and say something when they took him. He was in a deep sleep and yanked out of his bed, and he's 4 years old. He couldn't really do much fighting.
Well, if he talks up and he knows stuff and stuff, they had to get rid of him. I mean, he had to have said something after what he did to him.
You mean prior to?
No, I think that he was familiar with them prior. I think those boys knew him. I think he was in the home a lot. And I'm kind of like leaning towards Monica and him having a sexual relationship. I mean, that was something that I heard it was like thrown out there. Yeah, and I'm kind of leaning towards that. Absolutely.
I just can't wait until everything is out on the table and we know for sure what happened.
All people are held responsible.
Yes.
And accountable. Absolutely. Even the cops, because they dropped the ball.
Yes.
This could have been prevented. This could have been stopped.
Absolutely.
And it should have been. But no, now a baby's dead. I hope they know they better get it right now.
If I was living in that community, I would be raising hell right now over the police department handling of this. I started to say child, but he's not a child. He's an adult. He's 18. I mean, we can't even see.
We talked about that at the beginning of the show about the department down there.
Right. We can't even see his previous events because he was a minor when they occurred.
Yes.
But this did not happen just overnight. He didn't just become this way. These people have been dealing with him in their community for quite a while.
What was the ankle monitor for? Does anybody know like why he had that on?
I heard that the story that was originally came out was that he had an ankle monitor on, but then afterwards they said that he didn't.
Well, I don't understand what happened to
the
case of him breaking in and trying to kidnap the other child.
Real quick. Somebody said, is there a possibility that if Darriynn rolls on others involved, he'll get a lighter sentence and possibly the witness protection. Tanya Marie K, just for future reference, whoever is the first person to snitch gets the deal.
Yeah.
Now, it may not be a good deal, but whoever's the first person to snitch gets the deal. And that's with everything. Because one thing, if you're able to snitch, that means they don't have everything that they necessarily need. And it's going to be your testimony that helps get them on either a bigger charge or the charge that they actually want to get them on. So that's why most of the times they bring everybody in, they put you all in separate rooms, and really it's a race against the clock. Which one of y'all is going to talk first?
Yep.
Madness, what do you think about the fact that his mother, Darriynn's mother, in her interview, the one interview that she did, said that she had not spoke to or seen Darriynn in 2 days, and this was after he was arrested. Do you find that strange?
Yeah.
Madness. Absolutely.
Madness.
Absolutely. And I don't think that helped his case at all. It's like, so you ain't
knocking the doors down getting to my kid.
Right?
So it's like, you ain't seen your kid in 2 days. You don't know where he's at. He's just, he's he seems to be a disturbed teenager. So he probably.
It's the parents.
No, I meant she hadn't seen him. Like when they arrested him, he was in jail, but they would not let her see him or speak to him for 2 days.
I'd be damned. Well, he is an adult. He is 18. So, I mean, if he was underage, then she could go in and see him, but he's an adult. So, unfortunately, they choose that.
They probably wanted to rough him up or something to try to get him to talk.
Probably. I do feel bad for his parents in a little bit because they didn't do this. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that they didn't raise their kid to be like this. But, I mean, our little boy's dead. You got to put the blame on who it is. It's the police, it's the parents, and it's everybody in that house. That's how I feel, in my opinion.
Well, I think that they all dropped the ball on all sides.
You hear the terminology a lot where it says this has to be a well-oiled machine. Because when it's not a well-oiled machine and all the parts, like look at how many parts there is to this particular case or to this particular story. And since this wasn't a well-oiled machine and everybody dropped the ball, Cash had to pay the ultimate price. And that, unfortunately, that was with his life.
Yep.
Right.
Does anybody know the timing? Like from when he first took Cash and then came back for Carter? Does anybody know?
It was right at 5 o'clock, wasn't it? 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
on the first one.
All I remember about that is that they didn't report him missing until I think they had already found Cash's body before she reported him missing. Like they already had found the body, but then they was able to, identify the body.
Well, that's what I was saying. They said that when he first came, when he took him, it was right at 5 o'clock, and then when he came back the second time, it was around 7 a.m. And then she didn't get up till 10, and she didn't call 911 until almost 11. And his body was found at 7 his body was found while Darriynn was in the house the second time.
Jesus God.
They was knocking on doors trying to find out who he belonged to.
Right.
And didn't she say her son was running around the community looking for him and they had people everywhere looking? I mean,
yes.
He was not far from that home. I'm sorry. That was too close.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The things that they say and do is the very reason we all speculate.
Absolutely.
I think it's a normal reaction for you to.
It was the interviews. Those
Right.
the interviews is what really kicked it off for people. Like, wait a minute, you smiling in this interview. She's tweaked out of her damn mind.
Exactly.
Like
giving them a freaking show of the house, like letting them come in and giving them. Oh my God, no.
And then for her to stand there while she's tweaking out and try to make us believe that she had this wonderful routine. Here she is, all drugged up, and she's got numerous charges for her drug addiction, and she's had her own children taken away. And she wants us to believe that she took in these 2 boys that are not hers, that she's only known for a couple of months now.
Yep.
And she had this wonderful routine of getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and doing make-believe school with them, doing their ABCs and doing papers and reading them stories every night before they went to bed. You've seen what their room looked like. That's about as much attention as they got.
Now I have a question. Do you think that Monica should be legally held responsible for having those kids and not reporting it?
I think Monica should be charged with not reporting the children because he abandoned them.
Yeah,
definitely, because they're not your kids. They're not your kids.
She herself said she did not know where he was.
Yep, had no birth certificate, no nothing. So if they got hurt, how are they gonna treat them? You know what I mean?
And listen, I was a foster parent for over 10 years. You can't just take a child in off the street and not tell someone.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
Exactly. Yeah.
A minor. Those children could have been kidnapped for all she knew.
Yep. But the mom didn't even call. Nobody called.
And that's what makes me angry. What makes me angry at the father is in his speech that he gave. I have trouble feeling empathy for him for the simple fact that he says he left the kids there because he thought she was trustworthy. He knew she was a drug addict. They were probably doing drugs together.
Yeah, he was a druggie.
That's why she was his friend. And he didn't want to break them from their routine. He lived in that house. Yep. He lived in that house. He's seen the shambles of that house. He got high in that house. He got high in that house with her.
Yep, around those kids.
He thought his safety was more important than his children's safety.
And he suffered the ultimate.
No,
whatever.
he didn't. No. The ultimate price was paid by Cash and Carter. Yep. That's who paid the ultimate price.
His whole
in my
opinion.
That's my opinion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, you just did. I agree 100%.
Okay, y'all. Unfortunately, I got to cut the live at this time.
Thank you so much for having me up. I really appreciate it.
Listen, I appreciate both of y'all for calling up here because, you know, I like people to come on the show. I need people to come on the show.
I'm coming back. I'll come back up.
I'm glad.
I'll give you a shout out and send everybody this way.
Thank you, please do, because you know they shadow banning the truth madness.
Oh, absolutely. They always do.
But everybody,
anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tipsy Girl. Thank you, Shoot the Shit. Everybody, I would like to thank all of y'all for coming. I appreciate y'all chilling with me tonight. I appreciate y'all, you know, letting me know what y'all think about this case. You know, it's a lot of speculation going on, and, you know, we're just speculating at this particular point. But I'm definitely glad that all of y'all decided to come in here, chill with me for a couple of hours. That's a lot.
Loved it. It was great.
Tipsy Girl, you make sure, you said you was going to come back up here. You make sure that you got your... Make sure you got your, well, they don't even be sending out all my notifications, but you make sure you catch another live and make sure you come back.
Definitely. Oh, wow.
Thank you. Thank you. No problem. You have a good one.
You too.
This was definitely a good show. Elandria, Molly, Leak You, Shoot Your Shit, Tipsy Girl. I'd like to thank all of y'all for coming on the panel. tonight. Like to thank all y'all for, chilling with Madness tonight. I appreciate y'all. Everybody that's over there in the chat, I appreciate y'all for coming. Please come back. We're going to have plenty more call-in shows if you want to come on the show. Rest in peace, baby Cash. Sooner or later, we will find out exactly what happened to you. And the person who did this to you will pay. And they going to pay with their life. Regardless if they spend the rest of their life in prison or they in Texas, they may get the death penalty, but Cash will get justice. Rest in peace, Cash. April Ferris, thank you. I appreciate that. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. Let's get the message out there, people. We got to have some prayers for Cash. We got to have some prayers for Carter. It's not easy losing a brother. Ain't easy losing your best friend. Like always, if you want to join me on my quest to stop the madness, then please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share this video, because we got some things to talk about. And we gonna talk about it because the madness is infectious. The madness is contagious. And the madness must be stopped. So remember, stop the madness, start the positivity. Thank you for watching. Y'all be safe. Madness.